All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about one of the biggest leaps you can possibly make in your chess game. Seriously, this is a change in thinking that separates the beginners from the players who really start to dominate. We're talking about the difference between just making moves and actually playing with a plan. Most beginners play moves. Strong players play plans. If you find yourself staring at the board, wondering what to do next, and just making a move because it looks good or attacks the random piece, you are playing reactionary chess. Today, we are going to look at the blueprint for long-term strategy. We're going to stop reacting, stop drifting, and learn how to dictate the flow of the game. So what's the real difference here? Well, think of it like this. A player who only thinks about their next move is basically just stacking bricks at random. There's no real structure, no purpose, it's just a pile. But a player with a plan, oh, they're working from a blueprint. Every single move, every brick is placed with intention, all working together to build this powerful, unshakable fortress. Let's break this down even more. Moves are reactive. You're just solving a tiny momentary problem like, oh no, my pawn is under attack, I better save it. And that's okay, but if that's all you do, you're just drifting, letting your opponent push you around the board. Plans, on the other hand, are proactive. They're long-term. You're not just plugging a hole in the boat, you're building a battleship and creating a powerful structure that forces your opponent to react to you. Big difference, right? Okay, I can almost hear you thinking, that sounds amazing, but how do I actually find a plan? The board just looks like a confusing mess of pieces. And that's the perfect question. Because the secret isn't about memorizing a million different openings. Nope. It's about learning how to read the position that's sitting right there in front of you. So here's the secret. The board tells you what to do. I'm serious. Every single position has these little clues, these hints that point you toward the best plan. Your job is to become a kind of detective, to learn how to read the blueprint of the board. And here's how we're going to do it. On every single turn, you're going to run this quick 4-point check. First up, the center. Who's in charge of those crucial middle squares? Because whoever controls the center usually controls the whole game. Second, king safety. Are the kings all safe and sound? Or is one of them looking a little exposed? A vulnerable king is a massive target. Third, piece activity. Look at your army. Which pieces are your heroes, doing amazing things? And which ones are, well, zeros, just sitting on the back rank doing nothing? And finally, pawn structure. Look for those permanent weaknesses, things like isolated or doubled pawns. These are like little cracks in your opponent's foundation that you can attack all game long. And this right here is the big mental shift. Once you start running this 4-point check every single turn, you stop seeing a random jumble of pieces. Instead, you start to see the bigger picture, the strategic blueprint, the strengths, the weaknesses, the whole story of the game. Okay, so you've done your detective work. You've read the blueprint. Now what? How do you actually turn that information into a real, concrete plan that's going to win you the game? This is where it gets really practical. This is your go-to framework, the golden rule that's going to help you turn that diagnosis into a real, actionable plan and make every one of your moves powerful and purposeful. And here it is, the aha moment where everything clicks together. This framework is designed to act on what you just found. So, step 1, improve your worst piece. Remember that zero we found, that lazy piece just sitting there? It's time to wake it up and turn it into a hero. Get it in the game. Step 2, create a threat. This is how you stay proactive. You give your opponent a problem that they are forced to deal with. And step 3, target a weakness. Remember those little cracks in the pawn structure we found? Now's the time to focus your forces right there and apply some serious pressure. You see, when you combine that 4-point diagnostic check with this 3-step planning framework, something incredible starts to happen. Every move you make suddenly has a clear, obvious purpose. You're not just drifting anymore. You're the captain, steering the ship. This is that huge fundamental shift we've been building up to. So from this moment on, I want you to think of it like this. Every move you consider has to pass a very simple 2-part test before you're allowed to play it. First, you ask yourself, does this move actually progress my plan? Does it improve a piece, create a threat, or target a weakness? If the answer is no, then you ask the second question. Does this move stop what my opponent is trying to do? If your move does one of those 2 things, it's a good move. But if it does neither, you just don't play it. It's that simple. No more random, pointless waiting moves. Every single piece you touch matters. And that, right there, that says it all. This is the fundamental shift from being a chess player, someone who just knows how the pieces move, to becoming a chess thinker, someone who understands the deeper strategy and dictates how the game is going to be played. Look, this isn't going to feel natural overnight, but this framework is your key, so just be patient with yourself. On your next move, and every move after that, do your check, find your plan, and trust the blueprint.
All right, welcome back. In our last explainer, we really dug into the difference between a single move and a big picture plan. Today, we're kicking it up a notch. This is Strategy versus Tactics, the second act, and it is all about connecting those two ideas.
So, we drew a line in the sand between the immediate move and the long-term plan. But just knowing the difference, that's not enough. The real trick, the thing that separates good players from great ones, is linking them together. Today, we're not just going to stare at the two sides of this chasm. We're actually going to build the bridge.
Okay, so let's start with where we're going. Every single journey needs a North Star, right? Well, in chess, that's your strategy. It's that constant guiding light that should inform every single decision you make on that board.
So what is strategy, really? It's your blueprint for the entire game. It is the deep down why behind every move you make. We're not talking about flashy one-off attacks here. No, this is about shaping the whole battlefield to your will over the next 5, 10, maybe even 15 moves.
I know. Blueprint can sound a little abstract, so how do we make it real? You look at these factors right here. You've got to ask yourself, am I building a solid pawn structure? Is my king actually safe? Do I have a grip on the center or any other key squares? What are my pieces even doing? These are the questions that forge your strategy. They're like the permanent geology of the battlefield.
So here's the bottom line. Strategy is a choice. It's you looking at a piece that's just sitting there doing nothing. Some coaches call it a lazy asset, and you make a concrete plan to get it in the game. Spending 3 whole moves just to get a knight from the edge of the board to some monster outpost in the center, that is strategic thinking.
Now, let's flip over to the other side. Because if strategy is our destination, then tactics, well, tactics are the high-performance engine that's going to get you there. This is the engine room, folks. This is where all the raw, explosive power of the game lives.
And unlike that long, slow burn of strategy, tactics are all about the here and now. A tactic is a forcing sequence of moves. It's like a punch your opponent has to block. It forces them to give something up. Maybe it's a piece, maybe they have to weaken their king, or give you control of a key square. It's fast, it's short-term, but man, it is pure force. And here's your arsenal. This is your tactical toolkit. You've got forks, pins, skewers, discovered attacks, all of them. These are the patterns that create those forcing moves. Think of each one as a weapon, designed to do a very specific job. You master these, and you've got the horsepower to make any strategic plan a reality.
But here's the thing you absolutely have to get. Tactics are not just random acts of violence. They are these sudden, calculated bursts of energy that serve the blueprint. You don't just go looking for a fork for the heck of it. You look for the fork that helps you win control of that key square your entire strategy is built around. See the difference?
And that brings us right to the heart of the problem. To the chasm where, honestly, most games are lost. It's this massive, frustrating disconnect between the blueprint and the engine.
Now take a good look at this because almost every player falls into one of these two traps. On the left, you've got pointless aggression. That's all tactics, zero strategy. You're throwing punches left and right, making all kinds of threats, but you have no long-term goal. Your engine is redlining, but the car is just spinning donuts in the parking lot. Then on the right, you have passive dreaming. All strategy, no tactics. You've got this beautiful, genius-level plan to conquer the world, but there's no engine, no forcing moves to make it happen. The destination is programmed in the GPS, but the car won't even start.
So how do we fix this? How do we actually build that bridge across the chasm? Well, it all starts with one simple, almost clinical rule that ties everything together.
Seriously, burn this into your brain. If you take away one thing from this explainer, make it this. Your strategy is the map. It tells you where you want to go. But your tactics? That's your radar. It scans the road ahead and tells you when it's safe to stomp on the gas. You absolutely cannot have one without the other. A map is totally useless if you drive off a cliff, and a radar is pointless if you're not going anywhere.
Okay, so let's make this super practical. I want to give you a tool you can use to build this bridge in your own games, move by move. We're going to call it the dual scan method.
It's so simple. Before you even think about touching a piece, you run this quick 2-step check. First, the strategic question. Does this move I'm about to make actually help my long-term blueprint? Is it getting my knight to that outpost? Is it adding pressure on that weak pawn? Then the tactical question. Okay, I know my goal. Now, is there a tactical shot, a hidden trick, a fork or a pin that can get me there faster and with more punch?
And that's it. That's the whole thing. This simple two-question audit is the bridge. It forces you, on every move, to connect your long-term plan, your strategy, with your immediate power, your tactics. It makes sure your engine is always driving you toward your destination.
So as we wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. A demolition crew? They just swing a hammer. They knock things down without any real plan. But an architect has a blueprint. They use their powerful tools with incredible precision to build something amazing, something that lasts. So my question for you is, in your next game, which one are you going to be?